itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of every welcome.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood?
Difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up. When I did it, I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. I was fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, fucked up. When I did it, fucked up.
To apologize. It's too late.
When I did it, I was fucked up.
Too late to apologize.
I was fucked up.
It's too late.
When I did it, I was fucked up. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you? You know you done fucked.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. All right. Hello, Desmond. That crazy beast Aries. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. Okay. Anita Harrell, We the People. Jason Estrada is here. DM. All right. Deronda. All Hell Nah is in the house. Nessie X, Linda Lou. Okay, let's get into it. Cherokee Descendant Dale. About damn time is here. Claudette, Aquarius MC. Okay. So shout out to all. Deronda said, I ain't late today. Okay, shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Let's get this party started. Everyone, please go ahead and hit that like button. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing, all right? You can do it absolutely for free. And so let's get into it. Let's get into it because when I tell you guys, J-Lo's ex-husband has been dropping dimes for the past few days. Has he not? Has he not? Most hated bronze slap her God in the house. Now, before we get started with that, with the whole list and everything, let's talk about Jamie Foxx, because I reported to you guys days ago that, Jamie Foxx supposedly said on his Netflix special that Diddy was the one who caused him to have that stroke and end up in the hospital. Also, the big homie Cece said the same thing, and so did Choke the Joke, or Choke No Joke. Okay, so now Jamie's come out to say a little bit more. Jamie Foxx addresses whether Sean Diddy Combs was responsible for his 2023 hospitalization during live shows. Eyewitnesses. So Jamie Foxx recently addressed whether Sean Diddy Combs was responsible for his mysterious hospitalization. Now, 3 eyewitnesses who attended tapings of Fox's forthcoming Netflix special, What Had Happened Was, said he discussed allegations that Combs caused his hospitalization, but the audience members had different recollections of what the comedian said. So earlier this month, Choke No Joke, who is a videographer, producer, and director, told Comedy Hype that he attended 2 of Fox's 3 shows, which took place on October the 4th, 5th, and 6th, at the Alliance Theater in Atlanta. Now, on October the 7th, Comedy Hype uploaded a YouTube video in which Choke said, Jamie has a special coming out on Netflix, called What Happened Was. And I went to the taping of it. It was 3 days taping, and I went to the first show. I went to the last show. Now, Choke claimed that Jamie stated during the tapings that Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and Foxx
is the one who called the FBI on Diddy. However, it's unclear whether the alleged comments will be included in the final cut of the special. So, as to whether the alleged comments were presented as a joke, Choke replied, I don't think he was joking. Saying y'all can determine was he joking or not when you see the show. Because to me, I'm a new comedian, right? I know when somebody's setting up a punchline, and I know when you're serious. Okay, this is what Choke said, noting that he didn't want to give away Jamie's jokes. And so, Page Six cannot independently confirm whether the alleged comments were made or received by viewers or others in jest. Now, after Foxx said Diddy did something to me, he said, and I'm the one who called the feds on him. Okay, this is what Choke reiterated, hypothesizing that Foxx might have done so because he was scared. He disappeared, right? He out now. So soon as Puff went to jail, right? We see him at the game with Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, right? We haven't seen him. As soon as Puff went to jail, Fox was at the goddamn Dallas football game, right? And now he just went and shot his special. And who's the special strongly based? Who's the special strongly based around? Diddy. Now, once in the chat, has the special come out yet? Has the special come out yet? And has anyone seen it? About damn time said Diddy don't F with Jamie. Has anyone seen it? I guess it hasn't come out yet. I don't know, but when it does, I want to see it. Okay, now anyway, according to Choke, the stars appear to be brothers. Okay, bros is what he says, until something allegedly caused their relationship to sour. Now, when reached for comment by Page Six, Choke exclaimed, he basically explained that he was shocked to hear Foxx allegedly make the claims out loud, as he and other industry insiders had previously heard the rumors. Now, he told us phones were confiscated ahead of the shows, but that as soon as he got his back, he took a selfie with Foxx. Now, meanwhile, celebrity security bodyguard Big Homie CC alleged in an on-camera interview with Cam Capone News last week, he said, I know Combs poisoned Jamie Foxx. And Jamie Foxx reported him to the FBI because of it. Jamie Foxx reported this man to the FBI because of this. So when reached out for comment by Page Six, Big Homie claimed that his knowledge was based on hearing Foxx tell his story at two of his comedy show tapings, which Big Homie CC said that he attended with a client. So anyway, according to an outlet, the crowd, and well, they say Media Takeout echoed the same sentiments in a report earlier this week, claiming that Foxx allegedly said during his set that Combs had poisoned him and was responsible for his hospitalization. Now, according to the outlet, the crowd initially started laughing, prompting Foxx to allegedly look directly at an audience member and give them a serious stare. However, a third attendee, Dennis L.A. White, told Page Six that he went to the second and third tapings of the show. He claimed he heard Foxx say something about, the incident, but he said something along the lines of, people keep asking me if Diddy was responsible. He was not responsible. If he was, I would have been dead. Now, White added that he does not recall Foxx mentioning the federal government or law enforcement. However, he claimed that Foxx spent a good amount of his time on his set talking about Combs, even making jokes about baby oil. Now, after his series of performances, Foxx took to Instagram with a heartfelt message that read in part saying, God is good. I had an opportunity to tell my side of the story, and there was no better place than Atlanta, Georgia, where he was hospitalized. So he added that when people ask me, is this a stand-up comedy show? I say no, it's an artistic explanation, okay, of something that went terribly wrong. But thanks to the great people in Atlanta, especially Piedmont Hospital, you enabled me to come back and be on stage and do what I love to do the most. Now, the caption accompanied two photos, one of which showed him crying on stage with a microphone in hand. Reps for Combs, Foxx, and Netflix did not respond to our repeated requests for comment. Now, in April of 2023, Foxx's eldest daughter, Corinne Foxx, announced that the star had experienced a medical complication, but did not reveal the specifics. 3 months later, Foxx elaborated on the hellish experience, but did not disclose an exact diagnosis. He said, I went through something I thought I would never, ever go through. Okay, this is what the multi-hyphenate told his Instagram followers in a selfie-style video in July of 2023, clarifying that he was neither blind nor paralyzed. Still, he admitted that he didn't know whether he was going to make it through. Now, the following month, Jamie posted a message on Instagram. So he posted an Instagram message that read, they killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Hashtag fake friends. Hashtag fake love. Now, at the time, many deemed the upload as being anti-Semitic, prompting Jamie to delete it and apologize to the Jewish community and everyone else who was offended by the post. Now, I want you all to pay attention. Remember I reported on that? They were mad because he said they killed Jesus. He simply said that. Okay, isn't that the same story from the Bible? I just thought that was ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. So he went on to explain, he said, to clarify, I was betrayed by a fake friend, and that's what I meant with they're not anymore. Shortly after, the actor referred to his health scare as an unexpected dark journey. Now, then in July of this year, he was recorded telling a group of people in Phoenix that on April 11th of 2023, he had a bad headache, so he asked his boy for Advil. Jamie then snapped his fingers and said, I was gone for 20 days. Okay, insisting that he doesn't remember anything. So, noting that he was in Atlanta where he was when he was hospitalized, the musician explained that his sister and his daughter took him to the first doctor. Jamie then mumbled something to the person next to him, but it was inaudible in the video. He says, next doctor said, there's something going on up there. He went on, pointing to his head. I won't say it on camera. He quickly added while looking directly at the person filming, said he wasn't going to say it on camera. Now, as for Diddy, the rapper turned mogul is behind bars. Well, we already know where he is. Won't be getting out anytime soon. So I don't know. It sounds like Jamie was serious to me. I mean, what do you all think? Do you all think he was just joking around? Anita Harrell said Diddy is one evil dude. Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because when Jamie first ended up in the hospital, some people thought it was because of the venom. Some people were saying that it was Diddy. These social media sleuths be coming up with some stuff. Okay. Aquarius MC said, wow, I heard Diddy had something to do with it. Damn, how dare him do this to really good people? So sad. Love Her said, where's Jamie's head tattoo? I knew that was coming. I don't know, honey. Okay. He was not joking, Queen, says Danielle. Yeah, I don't think he was joking either. And especially when he says a friend that's not a friend and fake friends. Yeah, that definitely sounds like Diddy, in my opinion. Okay, now I can't substantiate these claims. I'm just telling y'all what it sounds like. But speaking of what something sounds like, let's get into it. Because when I tell you that Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband has just been talking a whole lot the past few days. Now, for those of you who missed it, go back and catch the video from yesterday where I talked about how he said J-Lo was doing Santeria and, sacrificing chickens and hens and all this and taking blood baths and all this stuff. Now, Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband claims that she was involved in Diddy's freak-off parties. Okay, he said, ask her about those SEX tapes. All right. So J-Lo has been accused of attending and participating in Sean Diddy Combs' now infamous freak-off parties during their time as a couple. Now, Ojani Noah, J-Lo's first husband, took to social media to distance himself from any connection to Diddy and the freak-off parties, but gladly claimed that the singer and actress was one of multiple celebrities present at those affairs. Now, in a post he shared that on Instagram, he shared a list of stars who allegedly attended Diddy's parties, one being J-Lo, whom Combs dated during the late 90s and early 2000s. And this is what he said. I'm not on the list. Okay, that's what he captured on the post. Now, to those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of ish Diddy freak-off parties, no and no, never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, she did. Ask her. Lopez's disgruntled former lover continued urging the public to question her regarding the alleged explicit recordings and other questionable items federal agents claim to have found during their investigation into Diddy. Oh, and ask her about those SEX tapes, he said, and the 734 dildos and the baby oil. This is all so messy. Are y'all listening? He just hating because he missed that, says Swift. Yeah, he might be hating, honey. He might be hating, but that doesn't mean he's lying, is all I'm saying. Now, here's a picture of him and J-Lo from back in the day. Look at J-Lo. Look at her. She looks so different back then with that hair. That's Ojani Noah right there. And by the way, he has an OnlyFans page, so they say. But let me continue. Now, Noah has expressed his seeming disdain for both J-Lo and Combs in recent weeks amid the latter's federal indictment and arrest on racketeering and trafficking charges in September. Now, Ojani, who married Lopez in February of 1997 before the couple divorced less than a year later, blames their split on Combs, his working relationship with Lopez. That relationship, which was forged during the making of J-Lo's debut album on the 6th, later became romantic. Okay, that's what he says, with Diddy and J-Lo dating between 1999 and 2001 before calling it quits. So he says she went from Jen to being J-Lo. This big business bringing in millions, he said. Okay, she had all these new people around her, all wanting to make money off of her. I would call an assistant. I would call and an assistant would say, "Sorry, she's not available." Now, can you imagine that? Telling you your own wife's not available? But so anyway, let's get to the list. So let me share my screen. Now, mind you, this list has not been confirmed. Okay, I'm not saying that these people were actually at the party. I'm just telling y'all what this man says. Okay, because he would clearly know better than me if he knows anything at all. So let's get into it. I'm gonna share my screen. Likes up, please. Like and share. Are the likes liking? Roddy said, thinking she was better looking than Selena, the singer. Not. I know she didn't think that, did she? She couldn't have thought that. Linda Lou said, are Oprah and J-Lo friends? I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea, but I know Oprah and Diddy were friends. I don't know about her and J-Lo. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Swift said in living color J-Lo was. All right, here we go. Jason said he just wanted to be on top of everybody and control over everyone. Yeah, did he? That's definitely true in my opinion. Okay, so here's the list right here. Can y'all see that? It looks like he alphabetized in everything. And so anyway, let's get into it. So it says 106 in Park. Now, by the fact that it says 106 in Park, I would just assume that he's talking about the people that hosted the show, I guess. 21 Savage, okay, Akon, Alicia Keys, Ariana Grande, A-Rod, A$AP Rocky, Ashton Kutcher, Bad Bunny, Ben Stiller, Beyonce, Biggie, Big Sean, Bill Cosby. Is Bill Cosby doing at the freak offs? Allegedly. Busta Rhymes, Bobby Shmurda. Now we pretty much had figured that Busta was there. At least I did after he came out and defended Diddy so vehemently the other day. Charlie Sheen, Chris Brown. Hold on, stop the bus and let everybody off. Did they say Charlie Sheen? Charlie Sheen, and y'all know what Charlie Sheen has going on, honey. Okay, Charlie Sheen has a whole lot going on. Is all I'm saying. I hope he wasn't using that oil on anybody, but let me continue. Okay, so anyway, Charlie Sheen, Chris Brown, Sierra, City Girls, Clive Davis, Craig Mack, Dep G. I think that should be G Dep. Okay, the baby, Damar Hamlin, Demi Lovato, Devin Haney, DJ Khaled, Doja Cat, Drake, Drea, Dre, Drewski, Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne Wade, Dan Verkovsky. We'll go back to Dan Verkovsky because his name is circled for some reason. I'm not sure why. Ellen DeGeneres, Eminem, Fabulous, Faison Love, French Montana. I can't believe that Faison Love was invited anywhere, let alone to a freak off. But anyway, I digress. Gabrielle Union, Gervonta, Giggs, Glorilla, Hillary Clinton, Not Hillary. I told y'all that Diddy be in tight with those politicians. Now, I'm not saying Hillary was actually there, but Diddy was hanging out with some of these politicians. Ice Spice, Issa Rae, Jack Harlow, Janelle Monáe, Ja Rule, Jada Pinkett, Jaden Smith, Jason Derulo, Jay-Z, Jeffrey Epstein, no surprise there. Jennifer Lopez, he got an arrow pointing to her name. Jessica Alba, Janae, Jill Scott, John Legend, Juicy J, Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake, Kardashians, Kim Porter, Kelly Rowland, Kevin Hart, Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Lyles, LeBron James, Leonardo DiCaprio, Lil Jon, Lil Baby, Lil Kim, Lil Nas X, Lil Uzi, Lil Wayne, Lil Yachty, Lizzo, LL Cool J, Lucian Grange, Magic Johnson, Maluma, Mariah Carey, Marilyn Manson, Mark Wahlberg, Marion Wayans, Martha Stewart, Mace, Mary J. Blige, Meek Mill, Megan Thee Stallion, MGK, Michael B. Jordan, Michael Jordan, Michael Rubin, Miley Cyrus, Missy Elliott, Naomi Campbell, Neo, Nick Cannon, Obama, Odell Beckham, Offset, Oprah, Orlando Brown, Paris Hilton, Pharrell, Playboy Cardi, Prince Harry, Pusha T, Quavo, Quincy. I gather he's talking about Quincy, Diddy's stepson. Ray J, Regis, Usher. Regis who? Not Regis Philbin. I know they're not talking about Regis Philbin, but let me continue. Rick James, Rick Ross, Rihanna, R. Kelly, Robert De Niro, Scarface, Saucy Santana, Saweetie, Sexy Red, Shaq, Shine, Snoop Dogg, Steve Harvey, Stevie J, Sway Lee, Swizz Beatz, Tank, Taraji, Taylor Swift, TD Jakes, The Weeknd, Tiffany Haddish, Tiger Woods, Timberland, TLC, Tracy Ellis Ross, Travis Scott, Trey Songz, Trump. Ha! I bet Kabami loves to hear this. Okay, Tyrese, Wendy Williams, Whoopi, Will Smith, Wiz Khalifa, Yin Yang Twins, and Young Guns. All right. So anyway, that's probably not even half of the list. Okay. That's probably not even half of the list. Cookie said, have you ever been swallowed up? This is all real messy. So what do you all have to say about it? Veronica said, all the blacks. Sophie said, that's why Orlando Brown called Ray J out on their interview saying Ray J be at those white parties. Okay. It's all nefarious. Okay, so anyway, before we continue, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. And get those likes up, everyone, please, if you could be so kind as...
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, and don't forget, you can purchase your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just go to Lisa Crafts, and also you can find it at Walmart.com. Okay, now, listen to this. Oh, and by the way, let's just look at a little bit of the freak off footage, shall we?
Every time, open a sex tape, my kicks and words, my faith, can't even only be money. It's like an earthquake, don't follow you out. Queen of constant, just get it from your back. Such a nice place, just a more for all. Keep marching on. Queen and royals, we own the throne. Through highs and lows, we stand bedtime, book in a sex game. My kick, the words, my faith, can't even own.
Okay, so bombshell photos have offered a disturbing glimpse inside the infamous Diddy parties as the rap mogul braces for another wave of allegations. Sean Diddy Combs is seen dancing with young women, excuse me, and glaring at people surrounded by bottles of vodka in newly filed lawsuits from Texas attorney Tony Busby. Another alleged victim also shared images of a small plastic container used by Diddy or his staff to slip the date grape drug GHB into the drinks, according to the lawsuit. Now, Busby's action details at least 7 new victims, including allegations that he drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl just days after he filed another 6 lawsuits from anonymous claimants. Now, the attorney has teased that he will continue revealing claims against powerful people in the near future and said people will be shocked at the A-list names that emerge. He says, you can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. Okay, that's what attorney Tony Busby says. Combs was arrested last month. Okay, we already know about that. And since facing criminal charges, over 100 victims have come forward claiming they were targeted by the disgraced rap mogul, with many turning to Busby. Now, in one of the shocking lawsuits, an anonymous Los Angeles businessman claimed to take intimate images of Diddy at one of the Diddy parties. Okay, moments before he says he was taken into a room and groped. In the picture, the producer is seen sitting at a table surrounded by bottles of Diddy's own vodka brand, Ciroc. He appeared to catch the plaintiff snapping the photo as he glares at him from across the room. Now, other attendees identified have been blacked out by Busby's firm, except for one woman sitting behind Diddy's desk. However, her identity is not clear. That's the thing. Why are they blacking these people out? If these people were there, I want to know who they were, don't you? I want to know who they were, because at the end of the day, what do they know? And why are their faces being hidden? At the end of the day, these stars need to be all called out. Now, if he's going to expose them, but see, that's what I was telling you guys. Now, think about it. I told you guys that when he came out there, talking about he's going to be exposing these people and then saying, if you were there aiding and abetting, if you were just there watching and didn't do anything. Well, he was saying all that stuff. I told you guys he was doing that so these celebrities would reach out to him. That's why he had the 1-800 number and all of that too. So these celebrities would reach out to him and go ahead and settle quietly, because who wants to be in the news and who wants to be attached to Diddy and anything that has anything to do with Diddy? Okay, so that's why these pictures are blocked out, because these people may have been some of the people that have already settled quietly behind closed doors. Okay, maybe that's why. But anyway, it goes on to say the businessman said that he knew Diddy after renting him luxury cars and jewelry through his company, but said he saw another side of the rapper when he accepted an invite to the party. Okay, you all remember this from the lawsuit. All nefarious said after taking the picture, he said things quickly turned ugly when Diddy invited him to his private office where the two were alone. Now, while he assumed they would talk about business, first of all, who's talking about business at a party? Okay, he should have known better. Okay, he instead claims that Diddy was intoxicated and acting strangely before he removed his pants and exposed his you-know-what. This is all so nefarious. Now, Diddy continued to move closer and then grabbed the man's privates, through his pants, squeezing them in a rough and sexual manner. So anyway, he claims the situation escalated until an unnamed professional athlete intervened, allowing him to escape and leave the party. I'm talking about once he saw that Diddy was closing in on him and dropped his pants, I would have been gone then. Okay, he wouldn't have had to show me anything else. I'd have run up out of there real quick. Okay, and I wouldn't have looked back. And so in another of the lawsuits, an alleged victim says that she was just 13 when she was abused and raped by Diddy, and included a chilling image allegedly showing a small plastic container used to slip GHB into her drink. Let me ask you all this. Now, the girl claims she was attacked in September of 2000 after attempting to sneak her way into a VMA Awards in New York City. She said she went to the venue, Radio City Music Hall in Midtown Manhattan, and began speaking with limo drivers in the hopes of talking her way inside the event. While she failed to get in, she claimed one of the drivers said he worked for Diddy and promptly told her the rapper liked younger girls and said she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to the after party, and she said that when she arrived, she was quickly made to sign an NDA in order not to discuss what happened. Okay, so I'm not going to get into all of that because we already know how that went down. We already know how that went down, but did any of you all stop to think about, these photos, Beyonce passed around like a piece of cake, allegedly. Okay. Most hated bronze flat part guy says, I seen a vid on how they lace those pink capsules, lace them up with all sort of nefarious things to lure people. Really? Who was the mystery woman mistress? I have no idea. Okay. So anyway, this is all crazy. But let me ask you all this. How many of you think, the pictures that were included in the lawsuit? Now, here's my question. So those people had those, those things with them after all these years? Like the little vial that they say the GHB was supposedly in, that's included in the lawsuit. So did one of the victims have that? Because they show it for the 13-year-old's case, and then they showed it for 2 other cases. Did those people actually have that? Did one of them actually have it? And if so, how did they acquire it? And what made them keep it all of these years? It's been decades. So I have questions, okay? And also, there was a guy who showed a picture of a bottle of Ciroc. He said that when he got there and Diddy did whatever to him, he took a picture of the bottle of Ciroc to prove he was there. Now, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. If you were at a Diddy party, so you all have to think critically, because these are questions, I guarantee you, these are questions that the prosecution, that the defense is going to ask to try to poke holes in their stories. So you mean to tell me that you went to a whole Diddy party with all these celebrities and all this stuff going down, and you only took a picture of a Ciroc bottle? How do we even know it's from Diddy's party? You could have taken a picture of that bottle from anywhere. Okay, this is not making any sense. Now, I'm not saying the people are lying, but I'm just saying they better get ready, because when Mark Agnifilo starts cross-examining them, okay, those are questions I would be asking if I were Diddy's attorney. And for anybody, before any fool out here says, oh, Queen Loki wants to work for Diddy and be his attorney, please sit down, because y'all know how fools be doing. Like they said the other day, I want to work for Command Me. But what I'm saying is, if I were Diddy's defense counsel, I would be poking holes in their story, and that's absolutely what we're going to do. And I would be like, well, when did you take the picture of the Ciroc bottle, sir? So you didn't take pictures of any of the guests who were there besides yourself? What about the room you were in? What about on your way out? Okay, sir, how do we know that this is even a picture of a Ciroc bottle from back then or more recently? How can we distinguish between the two? And as for the people who said that they had the little vial that the GHB was allegedly in, I will be definitely going in about that. So how did you get this vial that the alleged GHB was in? So you knew that they were putting things in the drink, but yet you chose to drink it? I would have several questions, is all I'm saying, honey. Y'all know I went to school for criminal justice, so I'm just telling you how I would have my line of questioning formulated. I would be trying to poke holes in everybody's story and guarantee you and trust and believe that's what Mark Agnifilo is going to do. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's exactly what he's going to do. Lord have mercy, y'all. Guess what? They said rapper Lil Durk's been arrested. Oh, I love me some Lil Durk. Please say it ain't so. Why is Lil Durk in jail? Let's find out what's going on. Terry said, BYOB, bring your own baby oil. Okay, Miss E said, I have a question about this list. Is this for just one party or all the parties? Honey, you know it's probably for just one. Okay, it's probably for just one, I would imagine, if it's even authentic. Because I'm sure there was more people than that. I'm sure there were more people than that. Okay, so let's get into this, because Lil Durk say what? This is breaking news. When did this come out? This came out at 4:30 this morning. Lord, they done got Lil Durk caught up in the BS. But anyway, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let me see what the New York Post is talking about. Sean Diddy Combs mixed star-studded bashes with raucous freak-off SEX parties after VMAs and Super Bowl. Videos reveal. What videos? Do they have videos in their possession? Now, the clip suggests that the orgies Hold on. Sean Diddy Combs' freak-offs often coincided with some of his biggest star-studded parties at the height of his fame, with at least 3 wild SEX parties taking place hours after major events, according to a trove of video files and documents viewed exclusively. Now, the clip suggests that the orgies, which federal prosecutors say sometimes involved women who were threatened or coerced into performing grueling hours-long sex acts, they were happening just below the surface as Diddy rubbed elbows with the biggest names in Hollywood music and sports. What about politics? You see how they left that out conveniently? They were clearly involved in politics too. Some of those people were there. Now, in the early morning hours of August 29th of 2005, the Diddy after party from the MTV VMAs was still going strong. Actress Eva Longoria chatted with Fergie in one corner, while Ice-T, Quincy Jones, NASCAR great Jeff Gordon, and Paris Hilton mingled with guests. Sean Diddy Combs had hosted the VMAs, and his after party was the hottest ticket in town that night. But one by one, the notable celebrities left the party, and there is no indication they knew about or were involved in what happened next. Soon, the event moved from the inside at Space nightclub to Diddy's Miami mansion. From there, it appears to have devolved into a raucous sex party, according to photos and videos from the Post. By then, all the stars appear to have been gone except one, Diddy. They were replaced by a cast of fit young men and women, all in various stages of undress. Now, as 2 white men took turns having sex with a very young Black woman who clearly had white powder under her nose. Diddy could be seen in the background wearing a white t-shirt with the words, "God is the greatest," written in black. I mean, the nerve of him. Wearing a t-shirt with God on it while he's doing the devil's work. Okay, please pay attention. Now, the same shirt he was photographed wearing at the VMAs after party. In another clip from that night, a couple had loud sex on the table as a group of well-dressed people stood around. They're telling us what's in these freak-off tapes. I just want y'all to pay attention. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that Diddy's attorneys want people to stop being privy to. Okay, this type of information. Now, the videos viewed by the Post are part of the same archive that includes footage that appears to show Diddy having sex with a much younger male A-list star. That video has been shopped around for sale at news outlets around one purported seller. In the trove of files, some of the videos are updated or the dates are clearly incorrect, but other files have dates that are consistent with verified details of events, locations, and clothing that Diddy and others were wearing. Ooh, honey, it is getting all so juicy. It is getting all so juicy. Now, however, many of the videos have dates that can be corroborated to star-studded events, including the 2004 and 2005 VMAs in Miami and the 2005 Super Bowl in Jacksonville. After each of these events, Diddy appears to have thrown a wild orgy. Look who's with him right here. This is all real messy. So I'm going to ascertain that in that list, when it said Quincy, it must have been talking about Quincy Jones and not his son, Quincy. And here's why. Y'all see that? Oh, and thank you, Daz, for sending me that. Thank you. Isn't it all so messy? What is going on here? But let me continue. So anyway, goes on to say that the alleged behavior is consistent with a similar allegation in a lawsuit filed earlier this week, in which a woman alleges that she, Diddy, and a female celebrity raped her. Okay, it says that she, Diddy, and a female celebrity raped her when she was just 13. I think that's a typo, but following the 2000 VMAs at Radio City Music Hall in New York. Diddy's attorneys denied the latest allegations in a statement. They said in court, the truth will prevail, that Mr. Combs has never assaulted anyone, adult or minor, man or woman. So during the weekend of Super Bowl 39 in Jacksonville in February of 2005, Diddy threw a star-studded gala with attendees like Ashton Kutcher, Ashley Simpson, and Girls Gone Wild founder Joe Francis. Hours later, the party seemingly moved to a $2 million mansion in nearby Sawgrass, which Diddy rented for a reported $20,000 per week. Now, in one video, two men have sex with each other while the sounds of laughter echo throughout the room. If it later appears that Diddy himself took part in the action that night and held the camera from his point of view while he appeared to engage in sex with a woman. Can you imagine being on some of these videos and now the feds have it in their possession? And guess what? Some of this stuff's going to be shown in open court as evidence. Now, again, there's no indication that his Super Bowl party guests knew about or were a part of the orgy that took place afterwards. Here he is with Paris Hilton. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Swift said the feds are freaks. Exact said fool just wasted money. I mean, he really was spending $20,000 a week. That's just insane. I don't care how rich I was, I wouldn't be doing that. And so I can't even show y'all this picture. They need to sit all the way down. This is all crazy. I can't show that one, but let me continue. Ugh. All I'll say is these parties look like they were raunchy. And can you imagine the smell of sweat, pussy, and baby oil? I bet the room was so pungent, that's all I'm saying. Now, federal officials raided two of Diddy's homes in March, seizing hundreds of sex videos and a mountain of sex paraphernalia, including 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. In a statement, the U.S. Attorney's Office alleged that the sex parties were not always consensual. He alleged sexual abuse of women, including forcing them to engage in frequent days-long sexual activities with male prostitutes, some of whom were transported over state lines. These events, which Combs referred to as freak-offs, were elaborate sex performances that he arranged, directed, and often electronically recorded, according to the documents. Now, to ensure participation in freak-offs, Diddy used violence, intimidation, and leveraged his power over his victims. Power he obtained through obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, exploiting his financial support to them, and threatening to cut off the same, and controlling their careers. Now, this has all been alleged by authorities, saying it's unclear whether the videos that the Post has viewed are part of the Fed's case, but officials say that they confiscated hundreds of videos from Combs' hard drives and devices, some of which include freak-off sex parties. Let me tell y'all something. Now, this is starting to prove Diddy's attorney's case. When Diddy's attorneys have said that the feds have been leaking evidence to the press because the Post says that they literally saw these tapes. Now, where do you think they got the tapes from? It appears, in my opinion, that the feds are absolutely leaking stuff. Okay. Now, should they be doing this? No. Should they be doing this? No. Okay. This is all a mess. Sophie said, yes, Queen, that's what I've been saying, because all that backdoor screwing cannot. Wavedo said, I'm just waiting on these politicians to be announced on some of these tapes. Trump has been connected celeb longer than a politician. # pay attention. Okay. Anita said, I bet it was stinking in there. Ooh, wee. Roddy said, feds do what they want, LOL. Clearly. Wavedo said, not pungent. Okay, Angelo of Glass says, cosmic like a damn community doorknob. Everyone gets a turn. Okay, this is all just a mess. But let me continue. Now, it goes on to say that, hold on, where was I? It's unclear whether the videos that the Post has viewed are parts of the Fed's case, but officials say that they confiscated hundreds of videos from Combs' hard drives and devices, some of which include freak-off sex parties. Saying they're consistent with the videos we have, a federal law enforcement source said, who's involved in the investigation. This is what he said after being described, the scenes in the videos. Okay, this is like clearly a typo. I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to say after being described. maybe he said after, maybe it should say after he described the scenes in the videos that the Post viewed. Okay, so just about everything you can imagine was happening at his parties. Okay, this is what he says. Now our job is to determine whether this was consensual for everyone involved, if anyone has been trafficked, and what laws have been broken. Yeah, they're giving information to the press. This is the feds right here allegedly talking to the press, telling them about the case, saying they've got to figure out what was consensual and what wasn't to make the determinations and see if anyone was trafficked. Why are y'all telling the media this? Now, in the videos viewed by the Post, the identities of most of the participants are unknown, but the feds believe that at least some of the victims in videos obtained by the feds were coerced into performing. Look at this. Let me show you guys some of these pictures. Hold on. I can't show that one. Hold on. Trying to make sure I don't accidentally show y'all something I shouldn't be showing. Okay? Seems like they're purposely trying to get this case thrown out. It seems, thank you, love her. It seems real sketchy. Okay, because why are they doing all of this? Why are they doing all of this? This is all a lot. DJ Big Six said, show up. Honey, I'm not trying to break no community guidelines, honey, please. I'm not going to show it. Okay, that's what I'm not going to do. Okay, so there's Diddy. This is the crowd of folks. Look at him, vote or die, but they didn't say nothing about politicians. I want you all to pay attention. Are they trying to protect these politicians? Because all they said was these people in the music, the music industry, the entertainment industry, and celebrity athletes. That's what they said. Say anything about politicians. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. And so it goes on to say that Diddy threatened his victims. Okay, he threatened his victims. This is what the Fed said after his arrest, including by threatening to expose the embarrassing and sensitive recordings that he made of freak-offs if the women did not comply with his demands. Now, Diddy has been charged with racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. In addition to those charges, he faces a myriad of civil suits from his alleged victims. He has pleaded not guilty and consistently denied any wrongdoing in both criminal cases and the civil cases. Okay? It's sick-ish. This is what one law enforcement source told the Post. Let me tell y'all something. I want you all to pay attention because from the documents that I told you when Mark Agnifilo filed the first motion on October the 17th, then the feds opposed it on October the 19th, and then he came back on the 21st, and then he came back on the 23rd. Okay, because I reported that on yesterday. When he came back, what he was saying specifically why they want and need the gag order is because he said they're out here running their mouths. And not only that, he said that some of these attorneys and supposedly some of the agents are giving their insights into the stuff. Like they're giving their own personal opinions. And that's what they shouldn't be doing. Because you have to ask yourself, if they're out here giving personal opinions, okay, isn't that something that could possibly skew public opinion, potential jurors, and all of that? So this is what he says. Somebody from law enforcement told the Post, it's some sick-ish. I mean, even though it is, but I don't think law enforcement should be speaking on it. Because remember, also I reported to you yesterday when I was reading the documentation, I told you that there was a case that already set precedent from where it was a problem because a law enforcement official was speaking on the case. And so they felt like that deprived the person who was facing trial of getting a fair trial. And that's why they have Rule 23.1, okay, to keep attorneys, all right, people involved directly in the case from running their mouths. So anyway, he said it's some sick-ish. Look, if this were just him having sex parties with a bunch of horny adults, we wouldn't be having this conversation, he says. And that's perfectly legal. But that's not what we're talking about. This man's a predator. Now you calling the man a predator, even though he probably is, but why are you saying that? You're just making this stuff worse for the feds' case. Attorneys for Diddy did not return comments from the Post. No, they're not going to return comments. Okay? They're not going to return comments. Okay? They literally, just from reading this, it is easy for me to see that they have clearly did exactly what Mark Agnifilo said they were doing, okay, in that filing. Diddy's going to get bail. He's going to end up getting bail because of these fools. How much you want to bet? He just might end up getting bail because of these fools. Okay, Lisa said Trump wasn't a part of their demon ball. May not have been, but he was probably at the parties. Patrice says, did she show the list? I saw it yesterday on IG. Her ex-husband dropped it in Spanish, so most people overlooked it. Honey, I didn't overlook anything. I paid attention, okay? Because I follow him on IG. And yes, I did show it, beloved. You can just rewind. Okay. I am saying the world knows he's guilty. Okay. Oh, yeah, I definitely believe he's guilty, but that doesn't mean anything when somebody can get something thrown out on a technicality, or they can, use that. Your attorneys can use that to get you bail. Because here's the thing. Let us not forget that the main reason that Diddy has not gotten bail, according to the reports, is because they've said that he is intimidating witnesses. Okay, and they also said that he obstructed. They said something about obstruction and intimidating witnesses. So Pensacola said, "You're right. Diddy getting bail," and I agree. Trump wasn't partying with Diddy. Okay. This is all nefarious. At the end of the day, this is all crazy. Why are they running their mouths? That's all I want to know. So anyway, now let's go to what they have to say about Diddy. And I'm going to play the audio from this video. I'm going to put up an overlay. Everyone, please like and share. And also, by the way, I have 2 more videos, brief videos that I did earlier. I'm going to be posting those sometime today. Okay, sometime shortly after this live. Okay, so please make sure you have your notifications on. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, here we go. Let me put this overlay up.
Personal assistants, other employees who helped find these women, who helped organize these drug and sex-fueled encounters that Combs called freak-offs. And significantly, they helped cover up these crimes, bribing witnesses, trying to coerce people not to tell their story, and trying to obstruct justice and destroy evidence. You will learn about the ways that Combs got these women to do what he wanted them to do. He would sometimes dangle carrots. He would offer them career opportunities, financial security, romantic relationships, and then he would threaten to take those away if they didn't comply with his demands, if they didn't engage in commercial sex acts for his enjoyment. You will learn he also used violence. He used drugs. He is many instances where he hit, kicked, punched, threatened, used guns to threaten his victims, all enabled by the rest of this criminal enterprise. And at the end of the day, after seeing this physical evidence, after hearing from many of these victims, whose stories will be corroborated by thousands of pieces of documentary evidence, by electronic evidence, all of the stories that they will tell you will be backed up by this evidence. And at the end of the day, you'll learn that this is not a case about somebody's sexual preferences. It's not a case about sexual preferences that may be different than yours or mine. This is a case about abuse and how one person took advantage of his powerful position and his incredible wealth to manipulate, abuse, and violate women.
Wow. Now,
election season is here. Remember, who you vote for is secret, but whether you vote is public information. After this election, your voting record will be updated, and your friends and family will be able to look up how often you vote. So vote on or by Tuesday, November 5th.
Teams switching off. On MuRdEr, the innovation workspace.
I should tell everybody, Barrett was not reading from a script there. That was all straight from her head. So very, very impressive there. And just to let everybody know, this is a little bit difficult for us to do since we don't know all the evidence. We don't even know who the witnesses are. We don't know who the victims are. We can surmise what maybe some of the digital evidence is, but we're doing our best we can. So that was great. That was the prosecution's opening statement. Brian, counsel, your response for the defense.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking time from your lives and your jobs and your families and embracing what I consider to be one of the most important aspects of American citizenship. You took an oath today, and it might be one of the most important oaths you've ever taken. I listened for a little bit as my able colleague set forth her case, and I want to make it real easy on you. My client is guilty of many things. He's guilty of coming from nothing and ascending to be one of the greatest entertainers of our time, and then going beyond that and becoming one of the great entrepreneurs in this country. He built businesses. He created fashion lines, television companies. I could go on and on and on. Guilty of that. He's also guilty, quite frankly, of engaging in a social life that lacks morality, as you and I know it, including sexual promiscuity, including drug use, things that you or I would never do. He's guilty of that. But you took that oath here today not to decide whether or not you agree with the way he lives his life. No, you took an oath to decide whether or not he committed crimes. So let me make it easy for you. Fact. My client never sexually assaulted anybody. Fact. My client never kidnapped anybody. Fact. My client never compelled anybody to do that which they did not want to do. I heard my colleague talk about carrots, and it's interesting that she would bring up carrots because these folks came for the carrots. They came to these parties like many came to the parties of Hugh Hefner and all these folks who live these kind of lifestyles with their eyes wide open and their hands open to be paid in some instances for sexual activity, to receive gifts in many instances for sexual activity. And while you and I will walk away from this courtroom, believe me, feeling a little less clean after all the things we've heard, when you walk away from this courtroom, I assure you, if you hold the government to the highest burden of proof of any court anywhere in the world, you will conclude that my client is guilty of many things, but none of them are the crimes charged in this indictment. Do me a favor. Keep an open mind. Make sure, once you hear a witness testify, you listen to what they say on the direct examination, and then wait till I get a chance to ask a couple questions of my own before you decide whether or not they're telling the truth. And also put in the back of your mind one thing. Have they come here today for justice, or have they come here today for money? Pay attention to the lawsuits that are pending against this man. Pay attention who's bringing these lawsuits, and you tell me who came here for carrots and who came here for justice. Thank you.
How do you see why we had Brian and Barrett here? This is phenomenal opening statements from you both. And now I want to go into, this is almost going to be, I guess, moot court a little bit, but I'm going to be posing questions to both of you guys. So Barrett, I'll start with you. Something that Brian had mentioned is the idea of whoever's called to the stand, whoever are going to be these witnesses, these accusers. Presumably, you have to imagine Cassandra Ventura may be a key witness. That's an issue about what their financial incentive is to come forward. Them come forward at this point in the game of sometimes allegations that could be years old. How do you address that?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of the challenges for the government, but it's not unique to this case. This is a challenge the government has in a lot of cases, right? You don't pick your victims. You don't pick the people that ultimately were the ones violated by Combs. He picked his victims. He's the one who went after them. Lots of victims come with their own baggage. Either they have, tricky things in their past that they're going to have to account for when they're testifying, or they have complicated financial incentives like they might if they had filed a civil suit. So we see this in a lot of cases. It's definitely something the government has to deal with. The way they'll deal with it, number one, they're going to be upfront about it. They're going to disclose all the information that they have about any potential incentive that the witness might have to not testify truthfully. That's called giglio material. So they're going to disclose that. They're probably going to front it in the direct examination of the witnesses too. They're going to say, look, you filed a lawsuit here too. You are trying to get money. And the more upfront the witness is, the more credibility they will have. I think the biggest tool that they're going to have in their arsenal about combating the argument the defense will make that these are just financially motivated cases is all of the physical and other documentary evidence that they're going to have to back up the witnesses' statements, right? Because while you can say, a witness might be coloring the truth, a document doesn't lie. And an email that they recovered from his phone or text messages that they got from a server, those don't lie. So that's, I think, what they're going to have to rely on to back up the stories of what the witnesses are saying.
And Brian, I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that. And let me couple that as well. I imagine an argument could be, well, the laws changed in New York. The Adult Survivors Act, the gender motivated violence act, basically, these laws allowed it a look back window for people to file a lawsuit for claims that were otherwise too old. And because the law changed, maybe that's why you see a Cassandra Ventura coming forward this time later. All of these people felt emboldened by the people who came before them who filed lawsuits. So if you're going to be saying, there's a financial incentive, they're coming for a payday, that could be the counter argument. So I'll push it back to you in terms of the credibility of these accusers. You heard what Barrett said, and you heard what I pushed back on.
Yeah, Barrett's not wrong at all. I will say this. I think the only way to succeed for the defense in this case is to try to contrast it. Barrett's right, as a prosecutor, you don't pick your victims, but you do pick your witnesses. And I think the defense has to make a case here.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for $160,000.
That what these folks are doing and portraying themselves as victims is an insult to everyone who's ever been a victim. And I think you have to say that. You have to acknowledge the fact that day after day after day throughout this country, people are victimized in horrible ways, young, old, everybody in between. But that's not this case. This is a case where people came in with their eyes wide open. They came to sex parties to have sex. They came to sex and drug parties to have sex and drugs. They didn't come there for any other reason. And maybe to see a few celebrities and partake and to have some fun. But the folks that are testifying here in this case are not victims. And what they want at the end of the day, whether they would have brought this lawsuit 1 minute after it happened or 10 years after it happened, they never brought it. And the only reason they're bringing it now is for one thing and one thing only, and that is to keep the carrots coming. And I think that's got to be it's a difficult task for the defense once you have multiple victims. The contrast in the two Cosby trials told you that. The one case I had, we only had, I think, one additional victim and some mention of two. The second time they tried it, there were 4 or 5. And, it could be death by 1,000 cuts for Diddy if there's a lot of victims, real victims, and folks that can portray themselves that way.
See, here's the thing, Barrett. When you think about the freak-offs, which are the central core allegation of the indictment, the argument could be group sex is not illegal. Drug use, yes, is illegal, but they're not going to charge him in a federal indictment like this for having drugs. A lot of these people, Cassandra Ventura said in her lawsuit, she was tasked with calling these sex workers, organizing the parties. Sure, she could say she was under force, she was under coercion, but is the jury going to believe that? Don't you think it might be hard to prove that these freak-offs, although wild?
Now I want you all to pay attention to what he's saying about Cassie, because didn't I tell you guys this? Didn't I tell you guys that the jury could say that Cassie was a willing participant? She was, like a co-conspirator or whatever. But see, that dog's not going to run because that video came out with him beating the crap out of Cassie. So that's going to work to her favor. I told you guys that. Please pay attention.
Wild and bizarre. Are they necessarily illegal? How are you going to prove that that's evidence of racketeering, that that's evidence of sex trafficking?
I think there's a few things. I mean, first, the one thing that I would push back on what Brian was saying is I really think, you said maybe one of the reasons that victims have come forward for these lawsuits is because there's been change in the laws. In addition to changes in the laws, I think there's been a change in our collective understanding as society about how power dynamic affects these consensual sexual relationships, right? As we saw with Harvey Weinstein, as we've seen with, many different powerful men who have been accused of using this power to essentially coerce people into sexual relationships. What we tend to think of as, equal footing, consensual relationship to adults, that power, the wealth, can really impact those relationships. So there has been changing societal attitudes in addition to the change in the law. Now, to your question about how do we show that these freak-offs were something criminal as opposed to just, crazy sex parties that people are entitled to have at their discretion. I think what the prosecution is really going to have to show is, number one, that the way that these victims got to these freak-offs was potentially under fraudulent circumstances. Either they didn't really know what they were going into, they felt coerced to going into these, and or that once they were there, they couldn't leave, right? Because they were given drugs, because there was threats made to them, either physical threats or threats to take away some sort of resource or financial opportunity, something like that, that made it very difficult for them to stop at any time, right? Because when you think about what's the hallmark of a consensual relationship, one, you know that you want to be there, and two, you can leave whenever you want to. And if they can show that either of those two elements isn't present, then they're going to have an easier time convincing a jury that this was something criminal as opposed to something just devious.
I agree. I think that's more of the fluid kind of charge there, and one that's open to debate or open to argument from both sides. But I will tell you, Brian, I think where the defense is going to really struggle, and I put it back to you on this one, is the transportation to engage in prostitution charge. For me, that feels incredibly straightforward for prosecutors to prove. Were these people sex workers? They'll say, oh, yeah, I was a sex worker. Were they paid by Combs? Yep. Were you transported to places where Combs was, hotels, houses, to engage in commercial sex? Yep. That one, you don't need force. You don't need fraud. You don't need coercion. It seems pretty straightforward. How do you defend against that specific charge, which I believe carries 10 years in prison?
No, that one doesn't have a mandatory minimum.
That doesn't have a mandatory minimum.
No, the sex trafficking does. The Mann Act charge doesn't have a.
Childcare bills add up. Trump would cut taxes for billionaires, but Kamala would cut taxes for families. Up to $6,000 for your family. 100 million Americans would get money back. Vote Kamala.
Have you been saying you're going to write a book for a while? Now that the world's flipped upside down and things are
mandatory minimum.
Oh, interesting. I guess it's being. They said 10 years, but you know better than me. Okay, but how many years are you looking at for transportation?
So that would be a maximum of 20 years. So there's not a mandatory minimum for just the prostitution, but the sex trafficking count.
Correct.
10-year mandatory minimum.
Correct. Okay, great. So, but even now,
I think you've touched upon it. I think what the defense is going to have to do once they get all the discovery in this case is decide what hills they want to die on. They may want to embrace an approach that says, hey, listen, here's what I did. I did transport prostitutes across state lines so we could have sex parties, and take one in the chin there. The guidelines on that probably aren't nearly as bad as everything else. You avoid the RICO, you avoid most of the harsh charges in this case. And so you may see that, and I've done that a lot in the past, and sometimes with some measure of success, because the jury, most juries want to give you a little something. They don't want to give you everything. One of the things that Barrett said that resonated with me a little bit is how, in fact, the way that the pendulum has swung in this country will affect this case. Because we saw it in Cosby. I mean, Cosby, we were right there in the middle of the movement. And that is going to affect, I think, jury selection in a huge way in this case. Because there are a lot of people of my generation who really, feel like the pendulum swung a little bit too far. And those are going to be the people you're going to be targeting during jury selection, because it's really kind of important, because Barrett's right. If you look at this through the lens of how we look at these cases today, that people of power take advantage of their station in life, their wealth, et cetera, to take vulnerable victims and make them victimized time and time again. People look at life that way. He's going to be in a world of hurt. You got to look at those jurors that are more conservative in nature, who are going to question why somebody shows up at a sex party to begin with, why somebody voluntarily consumes drugs in a setting in which sex could be the next option. Jury selection here is going to be huge. It is in every case, but it's really going to be huge here.
I want to take a specific piece of evidence that I will say is arguably one of the most important pieces of evidence, and see both sides to this, the prosecution and the defense. I'm talking about the 2016 videotape that was published by CNN several months ago that purportedly shows Sean Combs beating Cassandra Ventura in a hotel hallway. It is a savage, disturbing video that Sean Combs apologized to in an Instagram post 2 days after. And we knew that this was going to make its way into this indictment, and it has. So for the prosecution, talk to me about that video. Talk to me about what relevance that video has and how you would present it.
Yeah, I mean, the prosecution clearly thinks this is an important piece of evidence, too. You know that because they referenced it in their detention memo, right? This was one of the things they used in order to convince the judge that he shouldn't be given bail, saying, look, we actually have this, you can see for yourself how violent he is. You can see for yourself what he does when someone tries to leave one of these sex parties. I think this is like example of what I was talking about is how they combat that narrative of, oh, these were just, everyone's there for a fun time. Everyone, was there as consenting adults. This is what they point to. This is what they say is, she was trying to leave. She was literally trying to leave to go to the elevator, and this is what happens. Then I think they show what happened after that, right? The efforts that were taken to try to convince her and probably many other victims not to go to the authorities, not to share their story. The evidence that they can point to saying, look, they even went so far as to try to get the hotel to take this off the server. So we didn't have this, right? What does that show? That shows consciousness of guilt. That shows that they know that this was something that was not consensual, that this was something that was criminal and that they needed to be worried about. So I think I'm assuming there's probably other pieces of, electronic evidence that they could point to too, but to have that on video, you usually don't get something like that. So I think that's going to be pretty critical.
Brian, how do you fight against that video? Is there another context you could put that video in?
Well, it's a horror story for the defense. I think what you're going to see is a very aggressive challenge to that video. I don't know what the backdrop of that particular domestic violence, on tape was. Did it happen in connection with one of these parties, with one of these other charged pieces of the indictment, or was this just a situation between, two individuals that are in a domestic setting where he clearly engages in a horrible assault? That'll be the subject of significant pretrial motions to keep this out of the case. And a judge is going to have to balance whether or not it has any probative value to the charges involved in this case. And if not, it could be excluded. If it's in, and we're going to make the assumption that it's in as evidence for purposes of your inquiry, you're going to have to start right from the very beginning, owning it. You own it. You as a lawyer separate yourself from your client on that one and acknowledge that it's horrific, it's unspeakable. He's guilty of that, but don't find him guilty with the other stuff that they've charged him with. You can't, you can't get around a video like that, except to simply put it aside for purposes of the other charges. Again, what hill are you going to die on? If that video comes in, if there's a charge count that includes that specific act and that horrific conduct, they're going to take it on the chin.
Yeah, and look, to be clear, that's what it seems his defense counsel is already doing, saying that this was some sort of domestic spat. The problem with that is apparently the government will say we have a witness who was in that hotel room, the one that Sean Combs ran out of wearing the towel, who says he was a sex worker and that this was a freak off and she was trying to escape from that. And so it'll be interesting to see both sides. I will start with you on this, Brian, though. When I've talked about this case, and I think this is something the defense will exploit, and then I'll move it over to Barrett on this. Whenever I try to explain the racketeering charge, the racketeering conspiracy charge, what the elements are, how to prove it, talking to people who are not lawyers, they get very confused by it and what exactly Combs is accused of with respect to this charge, which I will tell you, it makes up 80% of the indictment. It's a big part of it. So what would be the ways, your defense counsel here, what would be ways to strike it that there was no racketeering conspiracy?
Do you want to see how much money you're eligible for if you were in a car crash within the last 2 years?
I think it's pretty easy. I think that's the best part of the defense argument in this case. Most jurors walk in there with the belief that RICO is, it's Michael Corleone and everybody else. It's mob oriented. It's drug organization oriented. It's not an entrepreneur who throws sex parties. Was Hugh Hefner part of RICO? And I think you got to you got to kind of appeal to that simplistic version of RICO. The problem you have from the defense is once they start reading the elements of the crimes during jury instructions and start marrying them up as the government will do, they certainly will have a compelling case to say, well, we checked every box as it concerns RICO. I still think, though, that there is a real effective way to beat the RICO in this case. I just do. Prosecutors for decades have used RICO and expanded it, and well, they should, because, take what you can get. But I think sometimes they bite off more than they can chew with RICO, and I think they may have done that here. This isn't organized criminal activity. This is, a successful businessman, an entrepreneur, an entertainer who just has a show of a social life and has probably committed some crimes in carrying out that social life, but he's not a racketeer, and this isn't racketeering.
Barrett, your response?
Yeah, I disagree. I probably am one of those prosecutors that Brian's referring to that has expanded RICO beyond where he would want it to. But, as I look back at RICO cases that I charged and prosecuted, they were far less organized and far less well-defined enterprises than what we see here, right? I mean, Combs really had, he was the enterprise. It was his name all over the businesses. And what I think the prosecutors are going to have to do to convince those who may not want to be convinced that this was an enterprise is show that he used those businesses. He used the resources that they had. He used the platform that they gave him to effectuate these crimes, right? It can't be something separate. It can't be he was a businessman and he also was engaged in criminal activity. It has to be he, as Sean Combs, the enterprise, used this very thing to enable him to do these criminal acts. So how will they do that? They'll show that the people that were working for him as a part of his business enterprise, those were the people that he was using to help recruit women, to help facilitate the freak-offs, to help cover up criminal activity that happened at the freak-offs. He'll have to show that those people were both enterprise workers and also sex trafficking enablers. So really tying those two things together is going to be pretty critical for the prosecution. But I think once, like Brian said, once they hear the legal elements of what a RICO is, about what
I'm going to stop it right there. Support the arts. Don't come in here talking about Kabami because we're talking about something else, okay? Leave Kabami for a Kabami video. Thank you. Don't come in disrupting the chat, beloved. All right. Now, with that all being said, what do you all think? Do you all think that the RICO charges are legit? Because I have to agree with the male attorney, okay? If I'm just being honest, I have to agree with the male attorney, okay? It's going to be, they're going to have a challenge proving that, perhaps, okay? And listen to the hypothetical argument that the male attorney said that he would give as his opening statement, basically, okay? They've got their work cut out for them, but I'm telling you, I think Mark Agnifilo is up for the challenge. Okay, so now with that all being said, let's talk about Lil Durk. Let's talk about Lil Durk. And also, as far as the person who was on Diddy's list, or that list that we don't know whether it was real or not, the guy by the name of Dan Verkovsky. I don't know who that guy is. I was trying to do some research to dig into who he is. Looks like nobody knows who he is. I don't know why his name was on the list or why he was. I didn't really do deep research. I just looked real quick while y'all were watching that. But it just says that his name was underlined in red, sparking curiosity. Verkovsky is relatively unknown outside a niche YouTube following. Okay, social media users were quick to ask why he was included. So he's somebody on social media, but who is he really? Like, why would he be on Diddy's list? Why would he have been invited to the parties? No one seems to know. Okay, so who the heck is he? So anyway, I don't know why he was on there. He's apparently a social media person. But now let's talk about Lil Durk. Because Lil Durk has just gotten busted in a murder for hire plot. Okay, this reported by TMZ. Lil Durk busted in Broward County murder for hire plot. So said he's been arrested. TMZ broke the story. Several members of the Chicago-based OTF crew, to which Durk has ties, were charged Thursday with the slaying of rapper Quando Rondo's cousin. Now, Durk was taken into custody by U.S. hold on, by U.S. Marshals and booked into the Broward County Jail on Thursday night. Authorities have yet to release details on his arrest. However, Durk's attorneys, Brian Bieber and Alec Ubieta, they confirmed the hip hop star was busted by the marshals, adding that he will have his first appearance Friday in federal court in Miami, Florida. So as they reported on Thursday, TMZ says the feds busted 5 OTF members in connection to the August 2022 shooting in Los Angeles that killed Quando Rondo's cousin. All have been charged in a federal indictment with conspiracy to commit murder for hire. Now, the feds say the crime was committed in retaliation of rapper King Von's death in Atlanta 4 years ago. Okay, that was November of 2020. They say, you may recall in November of 2020, King Von was fatally shot by Quando's associate, Lil Tim, during an altercation. Tim was initially charged with murder, but the case was later dismissed because they deemed that it was self-defense. Because, in fact, unfortunately, King Von put hands on him first. Okay, so there's that. Yeah. So with that all being said, Geraldine said there's no ritual like a Diddy ritual. Okay. You all are something else. Okay, so I'm about to be out of here. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. All right. And let me say this, for my moderators, if you notice that you don't have your wrench, that means you need to get in touch with me because we had a mandatory meeting yesterday. If you weren't at the meeting, then you can get your mod status back after I speak to you and give you the rules. Okay, after I speak to you and give you the rules, all right, because I don't want to have disarray going on in this chat. I'm gonna start going in on people again. Y'all, I've been being nice, but y'all don't want me to start going in. At the end of the day, that's what you don't want. Trust me. Okay? That's what you don't want. And so, with that all being said, don't be putting crazy stuff in the chat. Don't be sitting up here trying to troll. Don't be sitting up here going back and forth and arguing with people, being disrespectful, calling people nasty names. We're not going to have it. Okay? That's what we're not going to do. All right? So, with that all being said, let me see who's in here that I need. Okay, all hell no, said y'all been notified. Exactly. Yes, absolutely. So with that all being said, Reggie said, real nice queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so with that all being said, Luna, I'm gonna need you to join the Telegram app. Okay, and then so we can send you a link so you can join the royal court. Okay, so when we have meetings, you can be in there. And also, please send me an email because I need to talk to you about the meeting because you weren't at the meeting yesterday. Okay, and any other moderators who missed the meeting. Okay, get in touch with me so I can fill you in. Now, right now, with that all been said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Listen, don't forget that I said I'm going to be uploading at least 2 more videos. Okay, 2 more videos about Diddy. And that'll be shortly, okay, in the next couple of hours. Okay, so with that all been said, support the arts. Said, okay, I will save it for when you bash Kamala. Exactly, support the arts. That's what you do. Al Rich said, Queen, the RICO charges are legit, pushing weight in baby bottles. We don't know that he was pushing weight in baby bottles. That's all speculation and hearsay. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've not heard the feds say that. Now, though some of us may think that there was something in the baby oil that they confiscated. Now, I'm not saying that the people who are saying they got sprayed with stuff or whatever, we don't know if that's true or not, but could be. But the bottom line is the baby oil that the feds got, like I told you all weeks ago when everybody started bringing up the GHB in the first place, I said the feds have not come out and said that. Now they're sitting up here allegedly spilling tea on everything else, showing videos, because the Post saw video footage of what was on those freak-off tapes, at least on some of them. Who showed it to them? I would have to if I had to venture to guess, I would say the feds. And so with that all being said, we don't know if the 1,000 bottles of baby oil that they have in their possession actually had GHB in it. So we can't say that, all right? Until further notice. Okay, so everyone please hit the like button on your way out if you haven't done so already. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives, all right? And so also enjoy your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. Peace.
Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with chatter. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got